Okay, now that we've got our trim ring on, and it's being held on by our double-sided tape, looks really nice. What we're going to do is we're going to put our hinges on next. What we're going to do is we're going to take our female hinges. As you can see, that our female hinge at the bottom, and the front of it's going to be facing the front of the vehicle. So basically, I'm going to grab our window here. I'm going to show you how it's going to slide in when it's in the position of being closed. So basically, the hinge is going to just slide in like that, and then it's going to just close like that. So we want to make sure we have the right hinges for the driver's side of the vehicle. In this case, it's going to be female hinge, the bottom facing the front of the vehicle. So now that we have that in place, what we're going to do, I'm going to hold that in place. I'm going to put a piece of tape on each side of this. The reason I'm going to do that is because when you use a rivet gun every once in a while, the rivet gun might jump back on you, and we don't want the rivet gun to hurt our powder coating that we have on our trim ring. We want to keep it nice and in good shape. So now that we have that done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off here for a minute. I'm going to grab our rivet gun. Rivet gun work, basically the long part of the rivet is going to slide into the rivet gun. So you're going to have the short, fat part sticking out. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold up our hinge like so, line it up against the holes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rivet gun and put that in there, just like that. And then grab the handle with one hand, and I'll line it up with the other. And I'm going to squeeze, and the way the rivet guns work is they have multiple actions. So it'll squeeze it once and it'll pull out. And we're going to squeeze it again, and then we're going to retract again and get one more bite. Make sure our holes are lined up on the top, and just like that. It's going to break off the long end. Just drop that. Don't want to run over that with the tires. So we got that as the back end of it now. So now I'm going to grab my second rivet. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to repeat it on the top one. Now when you put the hinges on, you want to initially squeeze forward so that hinge is nice and tight against there. So I'm going to do the same thing here. Just like that. And our top bracket is on. So now what we can do is we can leave that tape there for a minute. We're going to grab our next bracket, do the same thing on the bottom. I'm going to hold it in position. I'm going to grab my 3 pieces of tape, and sometimes it's better to have your tape already pre-cut so you can just grab it if you need. Just like so. One more piece of tape here. That just protects everything. And line that up. What I'm going to do is take this off for a minute. I'm going to grab my rivet gun. Put my rivet back in it. And I'll start with the top one. Okay. And I'm going to squeeze the first time. Make sure I'm staying nice and lined up. Actually, you know, a nice thing that you can do on this too is you can put both rivets in just to keep it lined up. So that way, keep some of the guesswork out of it. Put this back on here. I'm going to squeeze that one. Squeeze it one more time and it'll break out there. And the bottom one here. Same thing. Squeeze the rivet gun. Okay. That's great now. Now what we can do, now that our slip hinges are on, we can just take our tape, pull it off of here. Everything stays in nice shape. And now, I'll get this all off. And we're going to go on to now putting our hinge bracket on. So I'll grab that ready and we'll put that on. Ring on. We've got our brackets on the front. We're going to put our latch bracket on the back. Basically what we're going to do, here's our latch bracket, and the goal is this is going to go on the inside of the vehicle, and you'll see this opening, kind of this indentation. That's going to go flush against the inside of the vehicle. So what we're going to do, we're going to put on the inside of the trim ring, we're going to line the holes up. We've got our little bolts. Got our little bolts that we're going to use on it, and we're going to just slide those through our holes, just like so. Okay, I'm going to grab the other one. We're going to try to make these nice and snug so it's a good tight fit, so you might have to just take a Phillips head screwdriver in and just make sure that they go all the way in, just like so. And now, I'm going to grab the nuts that go on the other side and slide. Okay, now that we have our back latch bracket on, we've got the bolts coming through the outside of the vehicle, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the nuts that we have, we're going to put those on, thread those on a little bit first. Okay, so that one's on there. This one's on here. We use our nut driver. We're going to tighten those up. Make sure they're pretty snug. We don't want those going anywhere. Okay, so now that we got that on there, nice and snug and sturdy, what we're going to do is we're going to go back around to the outside and put our rubber trim on. Steps of getting this back together. We've got our trim ring on, we've got our internal latch bracket on, we've got our 2 slip hinges on. So now what we need to do is we need to prep the outside of our trim ring for our adhesive weather stripping. So I've got another alcohol swab pad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just do, since I've been touching this a lot, I'm just going to do one final little loop around the inside here, basically on the trim ring and the outside of the vehicle. And sometimes what I would do is go on the inside of this bottom channel here, so you can have your finger just kind of rub along there to keep that open for you. Just go around one more time. Make sure it's good. Once again, it's very important that it's at least above 65 degrees out, or you're in a garage where you can do this and make sure that this adheres very good. Okay, so now as we're letting this dry, make sure that's nice and dry. Usually it dries pretty quick, but we have here, we have our rubber molded trim ring. Now when we do this, our goal is to start and end this in the same spot as our interior molding is. So basically we're going to start it here, work our way around, and come back to here.